Woohoo! If I hit all the right buttons, then we are live again on YouTube for another episode of our Talk Power BI show. I'm excited to be here. If you're just joining us, or well, if you found this on the replay, first of all, make sure to I can't say it right. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you're notified whenever we go live to answer your Power BI questions, help you over your Power BI roadblocks. But if you're live listening to this, then go in and type in a hello to me. Let me know where you are joining us from. Now I do have Zach from our Learn Power BI course. So while we're waiting for the YouTube folks and on YouTube, hey, let us know if you can hear us right, if the video feed is coming in good. Zach, while we're waiting for that, why don't I check in with you? So tell me, how are things on your end?
Yeah, things are going great. A little under the weather, so I'm sounding a little hoarse right now.
All right.
No questions for today's meeting. Just going to sit back and soak up some information from you.
That's great. But what is kind of the next step in the Power BI journey that you're focused on? Maybe a dashboard or something you're working on?
Yeah. So I do have a project that's about to kick off at work. I've been, obviously going through the courses and reading books and materials and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, until you get your hands dirty, you don't really know what you don't know. So looking forward to actually diving into a project for work, getting into my own data, and I'm sure once that happens, there will be plenty of questions for the group. So
love it. That's great. Give me a timeline. Now I'm really excited. Like, do you know when it's kind of kicking off, or how long it's expected to be?
I hope to get heads down next week. So over the next couple of weeks.
Nice, great. Yeah. Yep, and that's exactly the timeline I wanted to hear. I get really afraid, skittish when I talk to companies. Usually nobody in my class, because I don't attract that audience. But yeah, companies who are like, we have the 6 months project, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that was the old way of doing things. Yeah, I like kind of short bursts, a few weeks. That sounds great, and I couldn't agree more that learning comes from doing. And so this was pretty recent. I think over the past few months, I started noticing people saying, and truth be told, I've heard this for a long time, but I just noticed it and made the connection very recently, which was I heard from quite a few students at all different levels. Some who are in the course, some who are in the pro, some who are in the pro plus, and they would all echo the same theme. They're like, oh yeah, I'm behind, and I know I need to catch up, and I need to finish the course, or I need to go through the course again, or something like that, and I gotta get really good at Power BI. Yeah, I'm really gonna focus on it. And they almost sounded apologetic. And what I realized was that that's what was holding them back. And so they're waiting to get good at Power BI before they can start using it. But of course they got it backwards, because it works the other way. Once you start using it, that's when you get good at it, right? So, I'm sure training has a place. You got to understand the core concepts and so forth, but you got to do it. Cool. So, Zach, thanks so much. Who do we have on YouTube? We have our usual suspects, Loretta Sue, of course, a member of the Learn Power BI family. Loretta, good to have you here. How are things over at the university, at the uni? John Wilson from Idaho. Simon is here. Sam said hello from Berlin. Sam, did you move? I don't remember you being in Germany. You were in some other exotic location in Europe. Well, all of Europe is exotic to me. Yeah. We haven't traveled to Europe yet. Traveled through Europe, flying to India, of course, many times. But yeah, just haven't done a trip yet. I'm sure it's going to happen sometime in the near future. Maybe even we'll catch Sam and other folks who are in Europe. Let's see who else is here. Jen Nabel, another familiar sight. Good to have you here. Chris says hi from Cincinnati. Sachin says hello from Jaipur, India. Oh my gosh, love that place. So of course, last December, I spent the whole month in India. Now, I'm from Delhi, so I hung out there mostly, but we took a week-long trip to Rajasthan, which is like the princely state or something. Rajasthan, by the way. So somebody was asking, like, Rajasthan, what is that? They sounded like I'd gone to, like, is that close to Afghanistan? I'm like, no. So Stan in Hindi means place, all right? And Rajasthan Raja means king, so it's king's place or king's state, if you will. So that's one state in India, and by all means, it is what they say it is, right? So I spent some time in Jaipur. I spent some time in Udaipur. Really amazing. And this was a trip. So me, my son and I, and my dad. I think I caught myself in the grammar there. Ironically, somebody on our email list corrected me for that. He's like, Avi, it's not me and my son. That's not, you get it wrong every single time. I'm like, it's my son and I. My son and I. I hope I'm getting it right. Anyway, so so my son and I and my dad, we took a week-long trip. So I was in India for a month, but we took a week-long trip to Udaipur and Jaipur. And man, that was unbelievable. I'll share some photos if I can. Ooh, questions already. Let's see. Let me get through the hellos. Heather says, morning. Heather, good to have you here. Heather is, well, of course, she's a member of the Learn Power BI. She has featured twice now on our Talk Power BI show. Good to have you here. Sachin has a question. Good question, Sachin. I'll get back to questions in a second. Sanjay says, hi, Sade Hugo from Canada. Yamachiche. Ooh, I like that name. Nice. I'm in Issaquah. I often say I'm in Seattle, but that's not really true. I'm 30 minutes away from Seattle. Yeah, Sanjay says, hi from Gurgaon, India. Hello, my friend. Saurabh says, hi from Delhi. Narayani is here from Nadi. A lot of folks from India. That's awesome. Maybe the time adjustment helped. Now we are in not in DST, or now we are in daylight savings time over in the US. So maybe that helped the folks in India. It's not as late as it used to be. Yeah, well, I am from India. I grew up. So Sachin is saying, you know a lot about India, man. So there was it was actually a pretty big occasion. So I think I'm going to be 41 this year. I can never remember, but there was a point when I realized that now I have spent more time. Have I spent more time in the U.S.? Oh shoot, I don't. Friday morning, guys, don't ask to do math, but I probably have. Yeah, I probably have spent more time in the U.S. now. But yeah, I grew up in India. I was there for 21 years. Delhi. I'm a Delhi boy. Delhi boy, eh? All right. So please make videos in Hindi. Oh, gosh. I think that would be hilarious. Oh, that'd be funny, I think. I don't know, man. When I go to India, somehow people can always pick up that I'm not from around there. So when I'm in India, I do speak in Hindi. Hindi mein baat karta hu. But somehow they always know that I'm based out of somewhere. Like, oh, bahar se ho, you know. All right, cool. All right, Raja says Jaipur, Manindra, Gurgaon. Wow, awesome, guys. I love it. All right, great. So let's get going. All right, let's get started. Let's start with some not really announcement. I just wanted to chat with you guys, see how everybody's doing. We're gonna take questions in a second. Just hang on. Oh, I've been meaning to do like a book giveaway for a long time. So apologies, guys. You know what? Let's. Gosh, how can I promise to set that up next time? Promise. I'll start book giveaways next Talk Power BI. And actually, this is bigger than that. This is bigger than that. Now, of course, if you let's go over here. So, folks, if you wanna make Jeff Bezos richer than he is, you can get my book on Amazon. But hey, if you would like to contribute to the cause, my friend, right, to the Learn Power BI mission, and our mission is to empower 1 million users. Ooh, big one. But I know I'm gonna, you know, I found a hack for that. I'm gonna empower the 1,000 users who each impact 1,000 more. Boom, done. Right, so yeah, easy. And we have such amazing people already in the course. So if you go to my site, learnpowerbi.com, there's a book link, and you can buy my book. And you know, Jeff Bezos doesn't get his cut on this one, right? So, but we're gonna do a giveaway of this book. We're gonna give it away, one copy, on Talk Power BI, all right? But hold on to that. What we're going to do is, we're going to do this every single Talk Power BI, so we pretty much meet every week. But, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. These folks, the winners, will be entered to win a seat on the Learn Power BI program. Is that exciting? Oh gosh, how exciting. On Learn Power BI program. Power BI program. Yeah, so you've all seen the map, I hope. I want to feature it somewhere on my site where there are dots everywhere, and I have to update that map too, so you get to be a part of that. So yeah, we're going to give away the ebook. I should clarify. I'm not going to mail the book to you. I mean, frankly, that's possible in the US, certainly not in India, but that way everybody can participate. So we're going to give away a copy of the ebook, and you're going to be entered to win a Seed and Learn Power BI program. Details released later. What else? So I talked about this in the email that I sent out this morning, making yourself redundant. If you have thoughts about that, so let me know. But of course, I have embraced that goal. So this is from the beginning of this year. I think I had an inkling of that to begin with, but and again, I want to draw. I want to create like an image for this. But the idea, folks, was that beginning of the year, I realized that I was connecting people, right? So these dots are people kind of around me, students, followers, all that sort of stuff. And I was, let's switch to pink here, hey. I'm obviously, kind of connected to a lot of you, and I'm impacting a lot of lives, and that's great. And there's some connections that are emerging among students as well, and I like that. So I'm not going to draw all the dots, but imagine, right? So I'm connected to all of this. But my realization this year was that my dot is too big. And this was in a session with my mindset coach. I had my eyes closed and we were doing some visualization. And I felt like my dot is too big, and that's inefficient because I'm channeling a higher power. And by being this big dot, I'm soaking up that energy myself. So my goal is to reduce that size of my dot, maybe become just smaller, just reduce my footprint. That way I can channel more energy to others, right? I empower others in a bigger way. Now, how that's manifesting is that for the first time ever, we're bringing in these amazing people to teach in our class. We're going to start with Pam Baker. If you haven't checked out her video, check it out on my channel. Just look for Pam Baker. Amazing story. So she's going to be teaching the first masterclass, and then followed that by Christian Osborne. So Pam Baker is going to talk about financial dashboards, go way deeper than I ever can, and she lives and breathes this stuff, right? She is a finance person, unlike me, who's a pretender. Like I'm not a CPA or anything, right? I mean, I worked with it in finance for a long time with finance folks. And then we're gonna have Christian Osborne, who is a Power BI and sales expert, and he's gonna mash that up and tell us, hey, how do you sell Power BI within your organization or outside? So we're gonna do this inside our class setting, but we're also gonna invite some limited members from our Talk Power BI Insiders Club. Right? I've talked about that, right? So you see what I'm doing here. I'm reducing the size of my dot. And folks, the first time I thought of that, like channeling this higher power, blah, 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 I have never thought that way. Frankly, I don't think that much about higher power. I do believe in kind of spirituality, humanity, but higher power, I'm like, I don't know, dude. But what was I going to say? I thought about this. So I love kind of the metaphysical, but I love kind of trying to think about it scientifically, right? So if I think about it scientifically, I thought that, hey, I'm not going to take anything with me in this world. I'm just going to die, all right? I'm going to be gone, right? So there's nothing in me. There's only, just scientifically speaking, right? Just purely from the scientific sense, there's only this energy, matter. Matter is also energy, right? In this universe. So of course I'm channeling, that's, you can call the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's that power around me. Sure, it's a higher power because it's certainly bigger than me. And I am channeling because there's nothing that I brought in this world, right? And there's nothing that I'm going to take away. So, right, I had this whole kind of metaphysical experience with my mindset coach, but I think scientifically it makes sense. So anyway, so I just want to talk, let's see how, okay, cool. Questions. Yeah, folks, we're going to get in questions really quick. Awesome. So, folks, I'll give you just really quick some of the example of what's happening, kind of make yourself redundant. So, of course, real Power BI. Oh, man. So, yesterday, I almost kind of teared up because I had this idea about real Power BI. If you haven't heard about it, the idea is simple. I bring business users with business projects, Power BI projects, and I match them up with students inside the class. And this is the first time we're kind of running it on this big scale. And we matched up students across, and Noah checked in yesterday and I said, Avi, that's going great. He got lucky. Well, I mean, they are all lucky. They all got good projects. But Noah is working with a ski resort. And I think Noah is from that state, or maybe even the town, Colorado, or he went skiing there. There was some connection there. And he said, awesome, I'm working with the ski resort, trying to help them make sense of their data. So Real Power BI, folks, if you haven't heard about it, go check out, go just search for Real Power BI. Just search for one word, like no spaces, and that should help you find it. But yeah, it's on my channel, more details. We're going to run it, right now the plan is to run it at least twice a year. So I'm looking forward to that. So that was that. I'm just seeing that in action. And again, I'm not involved in that, right? Earlier, I used to be the one running the Real Power BI project. I would be the one doing it. And of course, this year, like, that's silly, right? Let them step up. Let them step up, right? I mean, they can't step up unless I step back and step down. So that's what's happening. These students are stepping up in a big, big way. Noah is going to take that ski resort and turn that around if they continue to work with him. We'll see. So Real Power BI is, of course, a free project. But, hey, after that, they choose to continue to work together on a paid basis. More power to them. Again, I'm not involved. That's kind of their decision. And in the Pro and Pro Plus levels, we started experimenting with Slack. So our main presence has been a Facebook group for our students. We also have our online discussion forum. But I'm falling in love with Slack, and of course we evaluated a lot of tools, including Microsoft Teams. But yeah, we ended up on Slack, and we called it a beta. This has probably been beta for a long while, but yeah, it's been great. There's been a lot of discussion, and this is doing what I'd imagined it to do, which is make it easier for students to connect with each other. Somehow that wasn't kind of happening on Facebook, but in Slack it's quite easier. So yeah, we see that happening, and of course Della, I'm sure you're gonna hear from her later in April, because she's also participating in the Real Power BI project. So she checked with me, and I did a shout out for her on our Slack channel saying, hey, Della is working on this project. It's very ambitious. It impacts, and like it could impact whole nations in Africa. And the same project is also going to be used for the veterans in US. So yes, it's a big one. I would let you, let her, you would hear from her more about that project. But yes, it's a big project with big vision. And so I just said, hey, she's working on this and she needs some help. And not one, not two, not three, 4 people kind of stepped up and just contacted her and said, hey, how can I help? How can I help? And Della checked back in and saying, wow, now we're kind of trying to coordinate. How do we get that done? So anyway, so that's, you see, all of that is part of this thing. I want to make myself redundant, right? Why do I have to be this big presence? And frankly, so Steve might be busy, but yeah, I mean, I want to bring in more voices on Talk Power BI too. Yeah, I think. Don't you guys get tired of listening to me? No, just kidding. You don't, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So that was my banter. And so Zach did say that he's listening in. So let's just jump into questions. And I love when that happens, when people are like starting to help each other. Like, let Avi talk. So Sam, who's amazing, by the way, I think he's helping Geert. Geert is, by the way, also in a Learn Power BI program. All right, so let's do questions. I'm going to scroll up and find the last one. But so folks, when I ask for questions, I mean that, type it in then, otherwise I might miss it and so forth. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, Sam has a beautiful line. Where the awareness goes, energy flows. And oh boy, yeah. So any fans of Netflix over here? Netflix binge watching? Raise my hand. So I've been watching The Cricket Fever. The documentary on Netflix. It's pretty amazing. I would definitely recommend it. Let's see if we can find it. Forget it. Okay, Cricket Fever. Yeah. So, and in there's a part where Sachin Tendulkar. So folks who are watching in India or anybody who follows cricket would know, Sachin is like the god in India. He's like one of the biggest stars. Frankly, take the top 10 U.S. sports stars and mash them up, they will probably not get close to what Sachin means to India. And he's talking about a batsman struggling, and he uses this line. He says, if you focus on problems, all you see is problems. And right, I mean, and I'm like, wow, if he, yeah, so yeah, got it. That's good sentiment. Okay, let's see. So Simon could not set up data refresh from SharePoint list. Got error on data source credential. Yeah, so SharePoint, let's take that one really quick. So Simon is asking SharePoint list. So for one, of course, so maybe you typed this earlier. Let's go 921. Oops, not that big. Simon, error refreshing from SharePoint list. So first thing when I hear SharePoint is it SharePoint online or on-prem? If it is SharePoint online, then you do not need a gateway. Make sure, well, yeah, that one is, oh, you would need to go to PowerBI.com to add your credentials. Online, do not need gateway. I think you may need to add your credentials online on PowerBI.com. Because the thing is, the credentials that you use on Power BI desktop are not carried over to PowerBI.com. So when you open it on desktop, the credentials are actually not stored in the file. By the way, if anybody ever thought that in PBIX file the credentials are stored, they're not stored in the file. For one, I think that may not be very secure, because imagine if you sent that file to somebody else, they could, I don't know, run a supercomputer on it and decrypt your password or something. So it's stored, my understanding is in your profile. I know it's not in the file. And of course, they don't make it to when you upload it to PowerBI.com. I mean, Power BI Desktop, you've given it your credentials, it's stored that in your profile, but PowerBI.com doesn't know how to connect. So I think that's what you need to do. Check into that. Yeah, if you're online, then you don't need, if you're using SharePoint on-prem, then you might need that. John Milstead has a question. Gosh. Man, it'd be really cool if... okay, cool. Again, I love it when I see people kind of helping each other, like at Sam, at Garrett. Like, yep, cool stuff. So let's see. So we'll say 0923, and we're gonna do. Okay. This is good. I like this. How to deal with bank holidays when running reports on daily bank balances. On daily bank balances. Simon, yeah, SharePoint on-prem, you definitely use gateway. Need gateway. There are two kinds, right? There's a personal gateway, and what is that called? Enterprise? Something else. I'll let you look into that. But just look into Power BI gateway. All right. So how did bank balances? Pareto, Huawei. Yeah, that's a great question. How to deal with bank holidays? Why am I struggling with that? Because I think there's more to it here than just that. So when Gary's saying how to deal with bank holidays, let's okay. Well, so my question is the problem? I'm thinking back to the old line that I said: if you focus on problem, all you see is problems. I was looking to see if there is another word for this. I'm going to delete the word problem. It's no problems, just, All right, so are we trying to do calculations? Is balance not showing those dates? Yeah. Okay, okay, got it. So John shared some more details. I added the bank holiday dates and copied values from the previous business day. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's great. I got it. Uh, Ooh, you got a handsome mugshot of John. Now, of course, let's go to Trusty Excel and see what we can do here. Yeah, so Simon, uh, that I don't know, that doesn't make sense. The Power BI extension. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna focus on John. All right, John, focus on you. So how? Let's see. How do you calculate ending balances? Now there are few ways to do this. So first of all, how should the data look like, right? So the data sometimes looks like this. So it'll say date, transaction, and credit debit. I don't know what's the short form for debit. And so it might say date is January 13, 2019, and then transaction was $100, and this was credit. And then January 25 and 2019, and this was $50, and this was debit, and then so on and so forth to 10 2019, and then it was $125, and this was credit. So sometimes you have like a transactions table, and then you can use that to create a measure to calculate the ending balance. And again, this is done purely in the measure. The measure kind of scans it, and it says, well, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the start of time, and then kind of add up the credits, remove the debits to that point, and then you can show an ending balance report. That's one. I don't think that's John's scenario. Yeah, so I feel that John's scenario is simpler. At least he's gotten it to a point where simpler, where he has a balance by day. So we'll go date, ending balance, right? And then he says January. Well, let's start in February, shall we? 2019, and ending balance is 100. And then the next date, and then ending balance is 125. They put some money in 2/3/2019, and then they withdrew some money. I don't know why it felt odd to say that. And this would be maybe 75. So something like this. But what about bank holidays? So let's look at February. I should have looked at it to begin with. February 1. Okay, so 2 was Saturday, 3 was Sunday. So maybe we change this. So 2 and 3 were Saturday and Sunday. So maybe this is 2/4. This is 2/5. Right? So 2 and 3 are missing, and he's saying, well, I can add those in. So 2, and I'm not sure he's adding it in a measure or in the query editor. We're gonna ignore that for now, but he can add those in. But if you do that, let's do 2/6/2019. I say $175. Then we're gonna get a flat line. Insert line. Right? Yeah. So you see this kind of flat line over here. So John, give me and the 2/4. 2/4. Yeah, so 2/4. I'm not sure what that comment was. February 4th is off. So, and so, do you? Well, so, I mean, I'm not sure you're asking it from like an ideas perspective or like Power BI perspective. So, I mean, I'm like, what do you want to do? Would you not show the flat line? How would humans expect to see it? So you've heard me say it, human learning comes before machine learning. So let me, what you would see. Now keep an eye on the chat. I know there's a little bit of a lag. But if you don't want to show those dates, then just kind of remove them. And of course, like, how do I remove it? How do I tell that it's a bank holiday? That you would do through the calendar table. So let's look at our calendar table. I'm not sure if you found that. I obviously know that that's the answer for things like this, tracking holidays, weekends, all that sort of stuff. Calendar table is a gift that keeps on giving. It's I've heard so many different uses. Like people would lay on the academic calendar on there, and you can add like fiscal calendars and all sorts of stuff, right? So you can mark important dates, launch dates, whatever you want to do. So calendar table is that place to go. And I'm going to wait for it to open up. So in your calendar, you can go and mark that these are holidays and then filter them out. You can just say, don't show me the holidays. And then all of those are gone. I feel like that's the answer you're looking for, or that's what you're looking for. Oh, you wouldn't have a continuous data. Good point. So, yeah, this has got some angles here. So this is good. This is really good. But let's talk about that a little bit. Like smooth line, that is really good. So let's look at our. So, folks, for those who are maybe new to the channel, then I'm going to point out to the channel here. Let's just go to. All the good resources are at the top. Of course, well, I mean, the really good resources are inside my course. No, just kidding. I mean, yes, there is. The course is not really just a course, it's a program. So the course dives deep. You know what? I'll just stick to what's on YouTube. And of course, who are inside my course, you know what you have access to. Great. So the good stuff is at the top. And, well, let's see. So tutorial. But for our discussion, with John here, the key is Ultimate Calendar Table. So that one, look at that. It lets you download the file and all of that. It's really easy to use. And it's something that is built inside the query editor. So let's just look at the query editor and the calendar table. It's coming up. Okay. Can we look at it here quicker? Nope. It's busy. It's thinking. Boy. All right. So I'm gonna talk over that. So in the calendar table, you can add holidays. Oh, but I wanted to go back to that smooth line. Cool. So let's. So what I would do is I would go to the calendar table and then feed it a list of bank holidays. Now, where you feed it from? Well, I don't know. If there's an online source, online page that is automatically updated, always accurate, that would be ideal. That way you don't have to touch it, right? Come 2020, 2025, 2030, doesn't matter. It's always going to get it from that source. If not, then you just create an Excel file or something like that. Keep it in a shared location so that others can update it too if you win the lottery. Right? Not get hit by a bus. Win the lottery. So you keep it there, and then it sources from there, and it's going to do is just going to add a flag. So just like we have lots of flags in the current month offset, it tells you what week it is. You can have something like this. So same way we have weekday and weekend, you're going to have something like holiday, and and well, I'll assume that weekend would be a holiday, but then other holidays would be marked there too. That yep, this is a day off. We're not working this day, and then you can just the way you could filter on weekday and weekend, you would come back and filter on that. So let's just go and talk about the smooth line. All right, for a second, sales and budget. Let's look at that. So again, once you have the holiday filter, you would just go in there, and so I'm gonna pretend I have it by putting in the weekday weekend. Oh shoot, that didn't work. Oh, it did work. Weekday weekend. I'm hiding it. Hold on, guys. And how do I? All right, cool. So you see that we got a filter there. So in your case, it might be like holiday versus workday, and then you would say I only want to see the work days, and boom, right? Or I don't know, do some reason if you do want to see holidays, then you can do this. But you know, you realize that the opportunity here is limitless, right? I mean, you can add a tag on there. Imagine if somebody runs a promotion. If you run ads, there are let's say there are 6 times in the year when your company pours in money to run an event. Let's say you're a grocery, not a grocery store, but kind of a department store, right? And what are the big events? Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, something else, something else, something else. So you can add a tag to your calendar table where you can say, I want to mark 7 days leading up to these big events, and watch what my sales are. And right, and then I don't know what you're gonna find. I have no idea. Maybe you would find that, oh my gosh, 80% of our sales come from these events and the days leading up to it. Well, okay, what do we do with that information? Well, first thing you do is you check it over time. You trend it over time, and that's where Power BI is magical, because once you define that measure, all you have to do is drag and drop and say, yep, show it to me by time, and it's okay. Oh, it's gone up or gone down over time. Or you would say, well, show to me broken down by all the different department store locations that we have. Ooh, for this department store, it's 60%. For the other one, it's 90%. What's the difference? Look at the data or call them in, talk to the department managers, right? So, but you can see with the calendar, I mean, it's amazing. So I called it the ultimate calendar, and then I realized I kept revising it, and I felt so embarrassed. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so ashamed. I called it the ultimate calendar. How can you call it ultimate when you keep changing it? And then I realized that is what makes it ultimate, the ability to just customize it to what you need. Cool. So last thing, let's talk about the continuous line, and then we're going to switch over to, I was going to say something fun, but this was fun too. This is a good question. So folks, let's talk about the continuous line. I'm going to put this graph over here. I'm going to rock and roll. Rock and roll, people. Okay, well, I'll move myself out of the way for a bit. Let me see. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, change this to a date level. I'm going to remove budget. I don't care about that right now. And I'm going to change it to a date level. And cool. Now, what you may or may not realize based on your data is, so right now it looks like a continuous line. Now again, I don't know what this report is, so let's see, like AdventureWorks what this data is, but oh gosh, I was expecting something else. Continuous. Oh, there we go. X-axis. Yeah, look at this. So if you look at this here, there's an option, continuous, which is going to be, I think it's always going to give you a smooth line, or categorical. Let's try categorical. Boy, that looks totally different. But I'm trying to see like missing days. I don't know. Maybe we don't have missing days, or let's go back. And there's also this option of by default, it doesn't show you items with no data. So let's turn on show items with no data, and does that give us any gaps? Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So on May 31, there weren't any sales. So depending on what your setting is, yeah, you may or may not get a smooth line. It's simpler than what I'm making it to be. But just be aware of these options, all right? So in this case, you do have this option, continuous or categorical, and clearly they oh gosh, I see. Oh, now I understand. So what categorical? So this is the axis. This is about the axis, not really about the line. So in categorical, it shows every single point separately, right? And continuous kind of condenses them together, you know. So it says, well, yeah, I mean, I get what you're trying to do, right? So you can see the end result, and I hope it's not being cut off on the channel. Let me put it here. So let's try that again. So this is continuous. It's over here. You can see the results, and categorical is like, no, I want to see on the axis. I want to see every single point. So that's what that is. And again, the show items with no data. There might be breaks, which maybe you want, maybe you don't want, right? Maybe you. Where did May 31 go? Oh, I think, did I change this? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so if you don't want breaks like this, then I think not, well, the default is that default is this unchecked, so you should be good. Just try it out, see how that works. Cool. Let's move on to our next question. And hey, Zach, if you change your mind, just chime in. All right, just speak up. All right, cool. What else? So Saturdays. So John is saying exactly the Saturday Sunday holidays. We're creating up to 4 days with the same data. So moving the balance from Friday to holidays and then showing only work days, not days off, would work. Awesome. That's good. Rajendra has a question. I'm importing data from multiple web content pages, JSON. Now the issue is that sometimes some links are obsolete and no longer work. Well, it's a machine. Well, let's fall back to what I always say. A human learning comes before a machine learning. Like, how would you solve it for a human, right? I mean, imagine if this was a real human who was like, oh, go here, copy this thing. Well, you're going to have to tell it the new location. So you're saying the issue is sometimes the links become obsolete. You got to go in there and fix it, like, right? So, of course, is there a way to figure out the new link? Do you know when it's going to move? Tell me a little bit more. Maybe there is something out of the box that we can think of, but short of that, it's pretty standard. I mean, so what I do is my favorite way. By the way, one of her students, I forget her name, she taught me this thing where you go to data source settings, and of course those who know are like, oh yeah, of course, Avi, what are you talking about, man? Everybody knows this, but I didn't, right? So you go to data source settings, and this is data source settings for this file, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is, oh, well, there are global permissions too, but ignore that. But the default is data sources in this file. And in your JSON case, it's going to be pointing it to a URL or something like that. And then, I think I may know what your problem is. So it's embedded, the path is embedded somewhere in your query. What you do is you create a parameter, right? You create a parameter which decides that, and then it's going to be easy to change that path. So you're going to go in there. Oh gosh, yeah. So that's not really a Power BI issue. I mean, you're saying somebody created a resource. So I think you're talking about, okay, so there was some changes in the organization. Somebody, maybe who was managing the Power BI file, they left, and now it didn't work. If it didn't work, let's brainstorm it, right? So, and believe me, I've had this happen. Interestingly, that's one of the key times when people contact me when they're looking for. Frankly, at that point, they're looking for consulting help because it's you don't have time for joining a course. what they're saying is, oh, I just inherited this report and from somebody, and I don't know, it's not working, or I need to add this, and yeah. So let's say Power BI report transitioned from someone, and link or refresh does not work. Link does not work. Let's go with that. And this was, okay, wow. Oh, 45 was over there. I'm like, what's 45 doing here? Well, I would look at, first thing I would look at is the bats. Well, frankly, can you paste like what exactly is the error message? What do you see? So it's possible that, so let's see what happens if the source moves. So in this case, I'm accessing a learn Power BI AdventureWorks. I'm just going to move that file, and I'm going to see what does it say. AdventureWorks access database temp. Oh, you know what? I don't have to remove the file. But what if, let's say, so let's do this. So I'm going to break it, and then and we'll see what that error message. So yeah. So that's the first thing. You got to figure out what is the path. What happened in Power BI file? Okay, it's refreshing. I should come back with some error, and we can compare notes if you get an error similar to that, if it's complaining about that path. Boy, it's taking a while. Meanwhile, I'll go back to the Word document. So I'll look at the error, I'll look at the paths. It's possible that, and sometimes what people do is they path referenced is local. So there's something in there local to their computer, like, so maybe not the main file, but maybe they have I don't know, like C:\user is Avi, something like that. And obviously once Avi is gone, then this path is not going to work, or this path is not going to work for somebody else. By the way, folks, I mean, obviously if you have something like this, then what is a long-term thing? What I would say is that set up the refresh on PowerBI.com, because that is a great test in itself. If it works on PowerBI.com, then you know that it's not tied to one person, because if it is, well, actually you can still mess it up. You can still have for local paths, I think. But that's one guarantee. I don't know, sometimes just have someone else refresh it, and so forth. And again, let's come back to this. So it'll probably, is it saying something like this? I could not find link or something like that. So maybe you can focus on that. If not, if maybe the error message is not useful. What is that? So maybe the error message is not useful. Then what do? Well, then you launch the query editor. Let's go back there. And what I do is I just where did that go? Edit queries, and I click on this. I click on refresh preview and refresh all. And now what's going to happen though is, as in this case, I mean, if things are changing in a big way, you would get a lot of error messages, but you trace that back, right? So, and then you go step by step. So let's look at budget. Yeah, budget has a lot of steps, right? So budget is actually working great. Let's look at sales. Sales, it doesn't have that many steps. What about customer? Yeah, so you do step by step, and sometimes you can go to error and say show me that error. That sometimes works. So try clicking that, and now notice that it jumped right to the step that has an error. Sometimes that doesn't work for me, or it's the button is sometimes not there. Then I slowly step forward. So I start at the source, like, is the source working? And I was like, oh, look, the source is not working, right? So obviously in this case, it's simple. I know that the first step is broken itself. But sometimes I would say like, oh yeah, step 1 works, step 2 works. Oops, step 3 doesn't work, right? So then I would know. Or, right, I mean, of course, I mean, if you find like you keep running and say, oh, this one doesn't work. So you debug the exact step which is working. In this case, the source is broken, so I'll go back to that, source adventure works, and hopefully I'll find it, right? So basically step by step. So if this doesn't work, then what you would do is query editor. I'm just recapping what I said. You would go to refresh preview. What is that? What is that thing called? Refresh preview, I think. Yeah, refresh preview, refresh all. Preview, refresh all. Then debug step by step. Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to figure out which step is broken. Once you know that step is broken, man, then you paste either you're gonna know right away, like, oh yeah, I see what's going on. You would know exactly what to fix, or get help. Just paste that M code here, like, hey, this is the step and it's breaking. And I mean, if you need to, we can screen share and that sort of stuff and all of that, right? So we'll help you there. Okay, cool. So hopefully that helped. Let's do another question. Saurabh had a good question. Interesting. Rajat is asking, is there any way possible to have nested app workspace or nested security group? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Nested, is that like embedded app? Oh, like folders, subfolders? Yeah, I don't think that's possible right now. So let's go over to PowerBI.com. Hey, and again, Power BI team is always listening. So if you need something, go submit it on the ideas site. It's and frankly, sometimes I go there and I'm like, oh man, it's a popularity contest, and unless I get like a I don't know, like 1,000 votes, they're not gonna look at it, but they actually do. So obviously, I mean, if you get 1,000 votes, great, right? But even this, I mean, notice that they haven't said that they have started working on it, right? So it's got a lot of votes. So I mean, they have to do the cost benefit analysis and some so go ahead and submit the idea. But the idea here is, I think, I forgot the name, and let me just note down this question since we're talking about it. Is the recording of this available? It is available. Yeah, it's just go on my channel, and you can binge watch the old ones if you need. So learn Power BI, talk Power BI. Yeah, just go to this playlist, and you have a recording from all the past talk Power BI. I think we're close to 50, and I wanted to do something big for 50, which we still might do, which will be next week, I guess. Oh wait, actually this is 50th. Ooh, woohoo! Hey, congratulations to you guys, my friend, for hanging out with me out here. That's great. Yeah, so I think this one doesn't have today. Oh, you know what? We might have crossed 50. Anyway, we'll do something big to commemorate the 50th Talk Power BI episode. How about that? And for those who know, we'll do the Talk Power BI marathon. We'll go all day. Excited? Oh yeah, it's fun. So yeah, you can catch the recordings, and if you sign up for talkpowerbi.com, the Insiders Club, then you have access to these notes, and you can go back and look at the notes and search for stuff like, hey, did anybody ask about blah, right? And just go for that. It might help. Frankly, yeah, so that option is there for you. Let's come back to, I was going to note down the question. Nested workspace. Rajat Sharma is asking that question. Hello, Rajat. Okay, so let's go here. And what do we do? 925. And we'll say, so I think nested app workspace or nested security group. So if you go over here, we have workspaces. But they're flat. They're all at the same level, right? But now it is what it is. I think right now you cannot nest it, so you cannot have like I don't know, right? Communication customer, and then maybe the one is communication and the other is customer, or something like that. You cannot have that yet. I have heard this be brought up to the Power BI team in a discussion. I don't know if it's there on the idea site or not. If you do find it, then paste the link here. I'll vote for it, right? And I'm not sure, Rajat, if you come from SSRS background, but the person that I heard it from, they did come from SSRS background, and SSRS, which is SQL Server Reporting Services, can actually do folders and subfolders. And of course, that's SSRS. In a way, if you think about it, that model is also available in SharePoint, right? Folders and subfolders can have their own security. Now, this is again is not available in Power BI workspaces. You cannot have like sub workspaces. So not right now, but again, if you find an idea, yeah. So Ajay is asking, when will incremental refresh available for Power BI Pro licenses? Gosh, that is a good one. Let's go find that. Where did I do the idea site? Incremental. I'm pretty sure there's a incremental. Oh gosh, I don't get it. I was looking for incremental refresh. Oh, there we go. 2,250. I'm gonna launch this. I'm gonna share this with you guys. So guys, definitely vote for this. So please vote Power BI Pro. So, and we'll talk about it for those who are kind of missing the context. And I'll go over here and vote. And let's see. All right, my friends. So I voted 2,251. Right, it went up. You saw it. Yeah. Let's see if we can bring the count up. Oh, damn it. I forgot the vote. What? Oops, I feel naked. I guess I was distracted today. Okay. Where's the bow tie? Steven, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, cool. So what is this about? Incremental refresh. So let's just catch everybody up. And again, folks, so I love doing things in a group setting. So again, my goal is to reach 1 million people. I'm going to reach that by impacting the 1,000 who each impact 1,000 more. And I've realized that it's a lot more effective in a group setting because you learn from your own questions, but you also learn from everybody else's questions. And again, I want to frankly see that more. It does happen more inside our student community. I want to bring that more in Talk Power BI, which is the third way to learn, which is by helping others, right? So you learn by asking your own questions, getting your own stuff answered. Number 2 is just listening to other questions. That is amazing, by the way, because you're like, I didn't think of that, right? It's something that's around the corner. Or maybe you'll come back to you later where you'll say, oh, yeah, now I remember. You'll be struggling with something and say, oh, now I remember. Oh, yeah, I was asking to talk about let me go back and check that or something like that, right? And thirdly, and you do see that a little bit on the channel. It's kind of a little clunky with the YouTube support. But inside our community, of course, we have our Facebook group. We have the new Slack channel that I showed. So, I always say, give twice as much as you receive. For every question that you ask, if you answer 2, you're going to be on the fast track, right? I mean, people don't realize it actually is a really powerful way to learn, right? So our Facebook community is awesome. And of course, you saw the Slack earlier where kind of the same thing's happening, just for a tighter net, kind of a closed group. So Slack for now is for our Pro and Pro Plus members. Again, I mean, it's all about kind of where in your journey you are. All right, so incremental refresh. Sorry, I got sidetracked, but let me write it down before I kind of sidetrack again. So this was asked by Ajay Imadi. And so let's say you're connecting to a data set which is 20 million rows. I don't know, 200 million rows, something like that, right? But most often, most of those rows are kind of past data and they're not going to change. So when you refresh, you don't really want to get all 200 million rows. You want to say, no. I mean, 195 of those rows are for past years. I don't want that. I just want to refresh the current year or the current month, and that's it, right? Now, of course, you have to be a little careful for what is called the late arriving fact. Late arriving fact. So depending on what your system is, I wouldn't know your system, but in like a sales transaction system, it's possible that something that happened on Monday, maybe somehow it was delayed. The transaction, I don't know, got lost in the network somewhere. It had to be retransmitted or something like that. Network failure, hard disk failure, something like that. And it instead of Monday, it came in on Friday, right? So you don't want to be like too aggressive on this. That yeah, I only want to refresh today's data because so something like that. But the idea is that you say instead of 200 million rows, I only want to refresh the current year, month, week, day, or something like that. Yeah, that's how it's typically done. So you can see the effectiveness of this. So instead of bringing in 200 million rows every single time, you keep the 195 million rows as is and only bring the 5 million rows for the current year. So of course, it's going to speed it up. It's going to speed it up. It's going to reduce the load on your network, on your database server. So good things all around, good news all around. So this is great. That's what incremental refresh is. Now, incremental refresh is actually possible in SSAS, which is SQL Server Analysis Services, which is just an elder cousin of Power BI. It's the same engine. Power Pivot, SSAS, and PowerBI.com, Power BI, Excel Power Pivot. Hold on. Excel Power Pivot, Power BI Desktop, PowerBI.com, SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services, and Azure Analysis Services. They essentially share the same engine. It's different flavors of the same engine, right? So SSAS does allow incremental refresh. Now, Power BI, of course, refresh happens kind of in the .com, in the service. But let's see, where can I find a modeling? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember now. I think it's maybe it's in a preview. Where do you specify incremental refresh? I was expecting to see it somewhere here. But again, you can specify it here, but it takes effect in PowerBI.com. But the challenge is that it's only for premium levels. Premium, which starts at $5,000 a month. Which really means you gotta be talking about 500 users or more using Power BI in your organization. So versus Pro, not yet available for Pro, which is $10 per month per user per month, right? So can be so yeah. So again, I mean, I don't control it, but yeah, we put the link on there. Go ahead and vote for it. Let's see if any of you was. Oh, look at that! Thank you, my friends. I think that's all us. So yeah, and hey, everybody helps. Yeah, look at add a comment if you want. That may help as well. But yeah, we'll see. And again, I mean, I've talked to the Power BI team, and of course, I mean, if you just go to Power BI Ideas site and all that stuff, if you look at the monthly updates, they're doing a bang-up job. This is the new Microsoft. They're amazing, right? I mean, it's just like impossible to complain in any way against them. And I respect what they have to deal with, because if you have an issue you're struggling with, it'll be your number one issue. But they're talking to not one, not two, but I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of organizations, I think, at this point. With each one may have their own kind of number one, but they have to, kind of figure all that out. So I respect that. I totally respect it. But yeah, they do listen to us, and yep. So vote for that, and we'll go from there. All right, cool. Let's see. How can we refresh data more than 8 times in the Pro license? That's a good one. Let's answer that. I like Mark's question as well. Let's see if we can answer them together. Oh, okay. No, I was just kidding about it together. They're different questions. So we'll answer them one by one. Narayan Moria, good to have you here, my friend. Let's see. Oh boy, what's happening? Come on, Word. Let's go to. Okay. Cancel. Stop. Do something. Ah, there we go. Ah, good. That worked. Gosh. By the way, while that's working, I just want to say I love you guys. You know, you mean a lot to me. That's great. This means a lot, and it's amazing to see the progress, the wins, and I totally forgot to do the first segment of our call. Let's just do that now. So the idea was that we're going to open with a win. And so what we do, we do this in a team meeting, and now I've started to do it with my class, and pretty much every meeting that I do, not one-on-one meetings, I think that would be a little awkward, but we start with a hashtag win, and this can be big or small, doesn't matter. Usually what I say, it's something that made you feel good, that's it. And it could be work-related or personal. Don't get too personal, or you can, I don't know, up to you, right? Whatever you want to share. So let's do that really quick, and then we're gonna take the questions again. So, and again, the way that I like doing this is I just close my eyes and see what bubbles up. Okay, I saw my daughter's face, so yeah, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I get to see her every morning. Yeah. So again, I mean, you never know. I think sometimes I often, in my team meetings and even on these calls when I've talked about hashtag win, sometimes I often talk about my dog. So we got a dog in October, and that's been pretty much in the limelight. But whatever comes up. Now, of course, if you really want to do this, and we're going to do the gratitude as well at the end, then the key is to, actually it works better with gratitude, that you don't just do one, you write 3 or 10 or 30 or 50. I've never done 50, but yeah, the more you write, the deeper you go. Sometimes the gold is kind of the last few ones where you really go to your core of what is important to you. So yeah, I mean, and hey, I think knowing yourself is like the first step in knowing, like you got to know yourself before you can look outside and kind of understand the world, right? So, all right, so hashtag win. If somebody else wants to share a win, could be Power BI related, could be not, go ahead, put that in the chat box, and yeah, we'll call that out. But let's come back here, and we segued because I'm having trouble copy pasting. Okay, cool. So we got that. So let's go to this question. Got it. So Pro license, I think Premiere lets you refresh every 15 minutes. Is that right? So Power BI Pro refresh limit. Let's see what we find. Data refresh. Ooh, solved refresh limits. Premium shared capacity. Okay, Rajendra has another question. Let's see, types of refresh. Where is how often? Oh, look at this. So this is oh wow, interesting. Let me read this. Oh, this is the cache refresh. Well, okay, I'm not that interested. And frankly, the default mode for me is import, not direct query. I'm just going to take your word for it. So if the Power BI Pro license does limit you to 8 times, obviously, I'm going to state the obvious that I think Premium would lift those restrictions, right? But that's $5,000. The other tool that I would recommend is Power Update. Now this is sold by a company called PowerBI. I know the owner, and well, he shared this with me, and he's so nice that he did get inspired by my tagline. You know, you hear me go power on all the time, and that's how I sign all my emails and all this, right? So yeah, he heard that, he liked that, and he named his company after it, which I'm flattered, right? But I don't have any affiliations. I don't get any money from them. So I'm just saying that just to say that I'm not biased, right? I'm just recommending it because I've used this tool and it can be effective in some scenarios. So what Power Update does, it's a different tool though. So PowerBI.com refreshes in the cloud, right? And usually companies have on-prem sources, right? So on-prem databases, and then you set up the gateway, and it can kind of go in and connect to your on-prem sources. Let's go to a different color. I don't know what color, but let's go back to orange. So Power Update. So Power Update runs locally on. Can I draw a computer? That's my computer. So it runs locally and runs the refresh locally. Obviously, it doesn't need a gateway because if you're local, you can access all the on-prem resources. And then when it's done, so it does the opposite. It pushes it to the cloud, and you can run it as often as you want. You can run it every 15 minutes, right? And the licensing scheme is, I think, like a one-time thing. It's frankly really inexpensive for what it's, and that's just one of the things it's able to do. But yeah, it's compared to other options, it's a no-brainer. So check into that. I wouldn't know any other way. All right, let's take Mark's question, and then we will, I see Rajendra's question, so we'll maybe go to that, unless something else comes up. So Mark was saying, import file from SharePoint folder. Is there a way to import a particular Excel file within a SharePoint folder? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Yeah, the key is to create the path. Let's see, how can I create? Oh, I know how to do. I know what to do. So we'll go to our SharePoint. By the way, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, SharePoint and OneDrive for Business seem to be the same thing. They seem to have the same backend, right? Let's go to one of the talk Power BI files, and I'm going to find an Excel file, which perfect. So let's go to this file. So I'm going to open this file. Actually, you know, I like this question, and I want to do a video on this because yeah, you're not the only one who finds this tricky. Ooh, interesting. Frankly, yeah, I mean, I just need a file. So what I do, and let's see if it's gonna work. So what I do is I go in there and I say copy path, the copy path. So I click that, and it look. Oh shoot, that didn't work. This is not supposed to be this. It's supposed to understand that. Oh, it's not uploaded to. What's going on? Hold on, guys. Let's see. My OneDrive is acting up, and it is online, but somehow it didn't kind of understand. Just give me 1 second. Let's see. What if I close it and open it from there? Let's try that. Let's see if I can file info. Okay, so let's see if it understands that it's oh cool. So now it looks better. Now it's not referring to my local path. I think this is gonna work. So let's copy path again, and I'm gonna paste it here. And yeah, it does all the path, and you notice that, I mean, yeah, as I said, I mean, this is our SharePoint, you know, so you can see that. So what we're going to do is go to the Power BI desktop and just point to that file. So I'm going to say new source, and sometimes I think both of these can work. Like you can say Excel or web. If I get into trouble, I'll come back and try the other one. Let's just try Excel. And the path that I had copied, I'm going to paste that in, except let's put that in our in here. You got to delete the web stuff. Oops, come on. Oh gosh, I keep messing it up. Right, so you got to delete the, well, actually the question mark as well, of course. So again, the path I copied, and why is this so big? It's ginormous. It's not letting me resize either. Come on, buddy, you can do it. Okay, I give up. All right, I'm not sure. I was trying to move it, but you. So I just removed that. Click open, and I'm pretty hopeful at this point. It's doing something. It's not erroring out yet. I expect it to ask for credentials. So that's it. I mean, oh shoot, access denied. Are you getting this error? I mean, we shouldn't be. This is a silly error. I mean, I remember this, but I mean, it's telling me you need to first add the site to your trusted sites list. Oh, okay, you know what? Let's maybe you do need to try web. So let's try web. Blah, 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 blah. It's coming up. It is here, and we're gonna paste the URL. Again, delete the web equals 1 part. Cool. So you could see that. So again, what I did was just pasted the URL that I had copied, and now I'm gonna hit OK. And fingers crossed. I think this is gonna do better than the last attempt. Connecting. Ooh, yes, please connect. I mean, I've worked this in the past. I know it works, but sometimes you forget that, oh yeah, I did this, and this before it worked. Okay, I'm going to assume that works. So, Mark, let me know if that helped, if that's going to solve your issue. Narayan says thanks. Oh, there we go. Look at us. Oh my gosh. Look at us. Look at us. We did it. Yep. So you can, of course, peek inside the file. So there you go. That's how you connect to an Excel file on a SharePoint folder. I really like this one. This has come up. So I'm gonna add. So the idea here is when I add hashtag, that's something that I want to record a video on that later. I write down a lot more ideas than the videos that I create. All right, so Mark, yeah, let me know if that helped. Let's go to the next one. Suppose I have a report that contains posting date with actual cost of different resources location-wise. Now manually create another table in same format with rejected cost, posting date found in the first table. For example, project cost. Yeah, hey, that's a long enough question that I think it's time, folks, if you're ready. So if you join the Talk Power BI Insiders Club by just going to talkpowerbi.com, then you have access to calling in. And I mean, frankly, it's kind of an honorary thing because I end up posting the link in here. But yes, that's you're supposed to be in the Insiders Club. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is open up the call line because Rajendra, I would like to talk to you. Yeah, just the question has got a few things that I don't think it's worth it for me to kind of explore and think about and so forth. So Geert is saying you can use a SharePoint folder connection. Yeah, but can you do that to connect to a single file? I suppose you can. All right, cool. So we're gonna. All right, so I'm gonna paste this in to our checked window and call in if you would like to talk. Using this link if you like. Ooh, nice. So for folder connection, let's see. Cool. We got this. So interesting. I'm just seeing. Nice. Ooh. So Rajendra, call in if you. Yeah, I would request that you call in. Mark, you can try the SharePoint folder as well, and then filter the context. Of course, yep. Sites sometimes do that. So folks, when you connect to a folder, you don't have to bring in all the files in that folder. You can then say only give me whatever the files that start with 2019 or whatever, right? So you can also restrict it to a single file name. Give me this file name. Lovedeep has a question: how to restrict user zoom in and zoom out? I think you can do that. Let's take that question, and I don't know if this URL is kind of sensitive. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Okay, so let's go 1022. Asking how to restrict. Okay, we have a caller. Just hold on 1 second. Let me help Lovedeep and PowerBIPro map. Oops. You cannot zoom in and zoom out. Let's see. Do I have a map? I think I have a map in here. Come on. Oh, that's weird. What, where did my pages go? Oh, back to report. Okay, my map is here. Let's play around in the options. Gosh, lock. No, that's something else. Well, it will go quicker if somebody already knows if there is a way to lock it down. Map controls. Ooh, auto zoom. I think that's going to do it. So if I zoom in to US and I say auto zoom is off. By the way, you can turn on, this is the new feature that came on recently. You can turn on zoom buttons, which puts this plus minus buttons on the side. Totally unrelated to what Lovedeep is asking. So you go over here, and yeah, I think auto zoom, if you turn it off, that's the key. Auto zoom turned off, and now let's go in and have fun with it. Gosh, let's delete some stuff. So we'll move it over there. So it has a set zoom, and now what I'm going to do is, yeah, let's say we say Jordan Turner. Notice it highlighted that dot. It did not zoom in. Yeah, Willie Shea, I think it's off the map. Willie Shue is not on this map, but it didn't change the zoom at all. Yeah, I think none of these people are in US. Only the first one was. Come on, where are the US people? Well, anyway, you saw it, right? So Jordan Turner, it lit up this dot. But yeah, so I think Lovedeep, that should be your answer. I'm going to capture that here. Map and map controls. All right, auto zoom. Cool. Okay, let me check in with the. Oh, we don't have a caller. Somebody joined in and left. That's cool. No worries. So, folks, yeah, you have the call in line, the link. Rajendra, if you want to talk about your question, just call in. So Saurabh is asking, is there an option to show Power BI pages like PowerPoint slides which can turn over after a certain time automatically? I do want to answer that question. How oh gosh, I have a feeling that this is very possible because I've seen this. When you go into Microsoft building, and the Power BI team, of course, has Power BI dashboards displayed on these big monitors, and you can see that it's Power BI. It's not like a PowerPoint slide. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure, and it just keeps auto rotating. How do you do that? Yeah, and of course Scott has kind of a workaround, but how do you do that with there? So so folks, let's see, Power BI. Gosh, I don't know, hallway display. I don't know what to search for. Hallway display, auto rotate, something like that. Present hallway display. Okay, that sounds promising. Oh gosh, this is a little old though, so I'm not sure. I feel like, yeah, so this is old 2016, and he's suggesting kind of workarounds like dashboard rotator, Chrome Firefox to rotate tabs, a suggestion idea. Let's see what the idea, if the idea had any updates. Slideshow full screen mode. It says started. So I'll check with the Power BI team and other MVPs on what is the latest on this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask my friends right now, the Power BI MVPs, and we have our own group. By the way, that's kind of how I got started on Slack. So now we set up a group for our students, but I was a part of that MVP group started by Matt Allington, whom you have seen on this channel. He had an amazing talk on one of the earlier Talk Power BIs. I'm just going to ask them right now. And who knows, those guys are pretty responsive, really chatty. In fact, a little bit too chatty for me. I can't keep up. But well, we'll see if they have an answer. Actually, let's go back here. Let me see if there is. I'm going to say, show me stuff in the past year. Okay, yeah, the third-party solution. Focus mode doesn't have kind of hallway. Focus mode, full screen mode. Yeah. Net presenter. Let's see. Easily share your Power BI dashboards and reports with employees. Does it have? I don't know if it's going to have auto rotate, but again, I mean, frankly, I'm looking for like a built-in solution. I have a feeling that Power BI can do it, but actually, maybe not. Maybe, because I've seen it on the Microsoft campus, but it's possible that now I saw it a long time ago. So I mean, I was going to say it could be a preview, but yeah, I saw it a long time ago, and this one they're saying it started on January 2nd. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I saw something else. All right, let me check. Hashtag Power BI. Let me ask these folks. Hey, folks, is there a display. Sorry, I speak out loud when I type. I realized it like 2 weeks ago. Display Power BI dashboard. Oh, I think you're interested in report. Report on a hallway monitor where it cycles through the tabs pages automatically, kind of like a PowerPoint slideshow. And I'll say this idea is in started state, that somehow I feel sorry I somehow feel saw this in action at Microsoft campus a long time ago. All right, we'll see what they say. Cool. So let's see. Nope, don't want that. I want to go back to my Word document, which is right here. I'm going to go back to the chat window. Do we have a caller? Ooh, let's see. Hey, Ajay, how you doing?
Yeah, hi. Give me a minute.
All right, cool. Yeah. Okay, we'll check in with Ajay in a bit. Let me see if there's anything else. Saurabh says thanks. Presentation mode. Ooh, let's see what this. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, bookmarks. I was thinking about that. I don't know if it auto rotates. Presentation mode in Power BI Windows app. Yeah, it's not clear if it auto rotates. If anybody has tried this, that would be really cool. So it goes full screen. Maybe I scanned through too fast, so I didn't pick up if it rotates through multiple pages. All right, cool. You know what? I'm gonna park this. If one of you reads this more carefully and you can say, "Yep, Avi, it can pretty much, kind of rotate through some stuff. Like if I have multiple tabs, then it can rotate through that." Then let me know in the chat window. Oops, I forgot to kind of mark it on here. Let's see. I think we started about
March 22nd. Announcements. Promise.
I don't know how to turn it
Ebook
off.
giveaways. Next Talk Power BI entered to win a seat on Learn Power BI program. 22nd. Announcements. Promise.
I don't know how to turn it off. Okay. There's some keyboard combination that turns that on. Let's go back. And I should probably disable that feature. I've accidentally kicked it off twice now. Hey, Geert, I saw you join in on the call, and if you do, put me on mute on YouTube. Yeah, otherwise it feeds it back. And Ajay, I'm going to check in with you really quick. Let me just note down the stuff we discussed here. So maybe we started about 10 minutes ago. And who was it that was asking the question about that? Saurabh. Got it. Show PBIX as PowerPoint slide. I'm gonna say this hallway and presentation mode. This might be it. Let's go back to this idea, screen TV mode, and between those two, so there's presentation mode. So again, okay, let's see, some new comments got in. Presentation mode is available for Windows desktops, laptops, and tablets. So I know initially they say Surface Hub, as if you gotta buy a Surface Hub for that. So John, thanks for pointing that out. Saurabh is saying, I use bookmarks, however, just wanted to check if it can be done automatically. Yes, that's the challenge. We'll talk about bookmarks really quick. Father's question, John. Oh, okay. So John, thank you for that. He found in the comments that the slideshow is planned. I guess we gotta wait for that. And Narayan has a question on linking. So all right, so slideshow is planned. Slideshow mode. Okay. I feel. Oh yeah, bookmarks. So of course, do I have a bookmark? I don't know if this one does, but if you do bookmarks, then you can go in. Do I have any bookmarks here? Let me just create a few really quick. So let's say add, and then I'll go here, and I'll say add this one. And then I'll filter to April and add that one. And then you can go into the view mode over here. And it kind of acts as PowerPoint. So now if you notice down at the bottom, it says bookmarks 1 of 3. And then it is this next arrow. So I can just go, yep, slide 1, click, and slide 2. And of course, it's not going tab by tab. It can be whatever you want. It can be like specific to like this filter, that focus. So again, it doesn't change the tab. Right now, what's going to do is going to go to filter to April. So I click next and notice it filtered to April. So really amazing, really amazing if you're like doing storytelling or trying to walk the management through a specific problem or a scenario, trying to convince them of something. And you don't want to just let them lose on the report or just tinker around, right? I mean, and for presentation for management, your time might be limited. So you don't want to be clicking around, scrolling through the slicers and this, that. You just want to add that as a bookmark. That way you can go boom, 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 right? I mean, like, my friends, we saw, so we saw the sales dip down in US for this customer. And if we look into more detail, we find that it's coming from in April, which you can see is high variance. Let's dive into April. And this is what's happening in April, right? So you get the idea. So bookmarks are really powerful. And again, you go into the view mode. And oh gosh, can you combine this with full screen? Can you go full screen in here? Oh, I think it looks better on the PowerBI.com service. Yeah, so try the same thing in PowerBI.com service, and I think it looks pretty phenomenal. So cool. So we'll write that down as well. So bookmarks in view mode, and they don't have slideshow either, but they're kind of like that. Awesome. Okay, so we have Ajay and Swapna. So Ajay, if you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself on the phone. And then we can talk. Make sure to I don't have my YouTube thing playing. And I'm gonna share my screen here. Just give me 1 second, just so you can see if we end up sharing something. I'm gonna close that. Hold on, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna check in on GoToMeeting. Okay, I think I can close that one out.
Okay.
All right. So, Ajay, have we talked before? Have you spoken before?
Yeah, we have not spoken before, but I had interacted in your sessions like last session on 8th March and
Nice.
today.
Great. So, why don't you
I was waiting
tell
for
us?
your calls always, but
That's great.
I got this time now to speak with you.
Okay, that's awesome. Why don't? Oops. Okay, I don't want
So
to
I have a quick question.
Actually, before that, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, myself, I'm Ajay. I'm into SAP Business Intelligence.
All
I
right,
worked
nice.
on different modules, different tools like ClickSense, Tableau, and Power BI, and
Cool.
SAP Web
Okay.
Intelligence, Design Studio, and some other tools. I'm passionate about exploring my knowledge in different
Clearly.
business intelligence tools.
Yeah. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's great.
And
That's great.
finally, we loved Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. It has a robustness and everything in one tool. We loved
Wow.
it.
Uh, that's
And
great.
the same spirit I'm giving to my team, and we are doing pre-sales with Power BI.
Mm-hmm.
We are developing very good dashboards, interacting with the customers, and
Yeah.
also all our customers are loving it, and we are getting more opportunities after getting into this Power BI.
Okay, that's great. Hey, folks. So I know at the beginning we did the hashtag win, and I had asked you for that, and we're gonna call this a hashtag win. That's great, Ajay. That's just phenomenal.
Yep.
Love hearing that. So, and are you part of? So, is this a consulting company? It does sound like you have customers and you kind of service your clients. So,
Yes, yes,
okay, got it.
exactly.
And are you really focused on SAP Business Intelligence? Are all your clients or most of your clients around that, or no? That's just one of the focus. And you.
We are into SAP. We are into like SAP completely business, and I
Got
am
it.
exploring my knowledge and doing the dashboards and interacting with the client.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
most of
great.
my clients are on SAP Business Intelligence itself. Okay, but
Got it, got
I
it.
am converting them to Power BI. I'm making them to use
Oh, I see. Got it, got it.
like,
So if they're
because we
using,
have some flaws and
yeah,
advantages
yeah,
with business intelligence, whereas Power BI is very well
got it.
uh,
So you
good
would
one.
connect Power BI. So they're obviously using SAP as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So you would connect Power BI directly to SAP system. So not use their reporting BI's thing. Use Power BI for
yes,
that. And of
exactly.
course, okay, awesome. That's great. Hey, where are you based out of?
I'm from India, Bangalore.
Bangalore, nice. Of course, that's a big hub there. I I
Yeah,
want to go there someday. I haven't been to Bangalore, or
you're always
actually
welcome.
as a
You
kid.
love the weather and culture here.
Yeah, I definitely have friends. A lot of my friends, we grew up in Delhi, but a lot of my friends do work there, and yeah, I mean, I hear stories from that. It does seem like an amazing place. Great, cool.
Great.
So, tell me what is your question? Let's see if I can help.
I have one question. I have already asked it today about incremental refresh of Power BI with
Okay.
Pro license, because
Yeah.
we all only like less than 50 users we have, and
Yeah.
Pro license also we have taken. But
Yeah.
as SAP HANA, like HANA is a database, as you
Yeah.
know, SAP HANA is a live connection. Okay, it's a very fast it's an in-memory database. Obviously,
Nice.
my customers will expect a real-time data when they
Mm-hmm.
are using in-memory databases. So
Yeah.
when I have given this solution like Power BI, they asked about incremental refresh. How will
Yeah.
it will be? I have raised like a question like it. We can go with the Power BI Premium.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's very costly. For
Yeah.
just for 50 members, we can't invest so much money in that. So
Yeah.
it's
Makes
a
sense.
drawback I feel.
What about using direct query instead? Have you explored that instead of import? And again, I
Mm,
mean, I always say default should be import. Anybody starting out in Power BI, you shouldn't even think or anything. But in your case,
mhm.
have you considered that? K-
Direct query we have not considered. We have
Yeah.
connected with the uh, OData services, SAP OData service, and
So that's
connected to.
the question that I don't know the answer to. So now I do know that direct query works with SQL databases.
Uh-huh.
I I, I, I have a feeling that it should work with SAP HANA. See if that is an option. That's the best that I can think of. And I really think if it works, though, I mean, it'll be like done, right? I mean, direct query. So again, when I was reading through the direct query, so direct query, the idea is that it always goes back to the source to query the data. Now I realize that there is
Yes.
some caching that it does, but you can control that caching and set it to like don't cache beyond 15 minutes. But that's going to mean that their data is as current as 15 minutes, which is pretty phenomenal. And it sounded like that would meet their requirements. So look into that, and I don't know, maybe even during this call, if we're still on and you look into it and say, hey, oh gosh, Avi, it does SAP HANA, there's nowhere to work. frankly, I'm not sure if I would be able to help you any further, but I'm really hoping that you can use that with direct query. Let's go with that. All right.
Okay. And
Awesome.
one more thing, we have connected recently with SAP BW to Power BI, but I couldn't fetch the data from my InfoCube to Power BI dashboard.
Okay, well, so did it not work in the query editor at all? I mean, what happens when you go to the query editor, you connect to SAP BW? What do you get an error? Are you not able to connect to the? Yeah, so I don't think I worked with Dynamics and stuff.
Okay.
But let's see. So SAP BW, I know they have a connector there. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about what happens when you do try to connect.
Like it will take more time to load. After loading, I can see the fields. Okay, I can see the fields, but I can't see my data.
Okay.
But I'm sure we have the data in SAP BW, and we are using that InfoCube as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, now that I'm here, I'm curious. Just see what does it say if I connect to SAP HANA. Oh shoot. Okay, fine. I'll try it later. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure I can help. I mean, I would have to look at your system. You'd have to share your screen and.
Can I do it now?
Maybe you can just make sure you don't have anything sensitive, and no guarantees that I can help you, but we can try. So go ahead. Is it you see a screen sharing button? Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, I had it.
Perfect.
Let me take
It's
a
like
new
a green button over there.
Yeah. We use Zoom. Okay.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I can see. So cash and liquid asset dashboard. Now, hey, this is gonna be on YouTube. All right, so make sure.
Yeah, I understand. And this is a sample data. No need to worry about that.
All right. I'm always nervous.
Production data will not be given out. Okay. So
all right, folks. This is what I'm looking at over here.
It's the application server. I'll take some connection. Oh, sorry. Actually, the server is off.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm just gonna check in on the chat really quick. Interesting. Yeah, Narayan, I like your question. I'm gonna try to get back to that. I'm gonna save that one. Okay, Ajay, I'm back with you. Okay, you're still connecting that. Awesome. Okay, let's go back. Folks watch on YouTube, if anyone of you has worked with SAP BW, let us know, because I haven't worked with SAP BW, so maybe you can help Ajay more. And of course,
actually my server is under maintenance now, this business warehouse one, so I was unable to connect it. Okay,
all right. Yeah, I mean, hard to say what's going on. What I would say, I would say this. So let's do this. I don't know if have you ever tried contacting Power BI support team?
No.
Well, so man, their support is freaking phenomenal. It's crazy. They were super responsive, and they got. And so this is for paid customers only, but hey, that means the pro license, and of course you guys have it, right? So and frankly, anybody using Power BI, if you just the $10 per month is enough just for the support. Now, of course, they're not going to help you with like, the measures and stuff, but stuff like this, I think they're going to jump all over it. So here, create support ticket. I'm just going to copy this link and put that in the YouTube as well. And you notice that the URL has the pro on there. And hey, I'll put it in our, how do I put it in a chat window? Oh, there it is. I'm not that used to Zoom. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna send that over to you, and I think they're gonna be all over it. They're gonna be like, yep. Here's what's going on. Cool. So I think that's gonna sort it out. Okay. Thanks, Ajay. So okay, awesome. So you can drop off or go back on mute, whatever you want.
I had another question, but it's completely technical.
Actually, if you can hold off for a bit.
Yeah.
Let
okay.
me look at Narayan. And folks, you have the call-in line I posted earlier. I'm going to post it again. Oh gosh. How do I do that? There we go. Got it. So copy URL. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait for that. So let's answer Narayan Maurya's question. How can we link 3 Power BI reports in one using linking options? Suppose we have 3 reports, daily, weekly, monthly. We want to link each other so that users can use one link to see all 3 reports. Narayan, you're making it really hard. Oh gosh. Like, what do you mean? Like one link for all 3 reports? I don't get it. I don't like how is that possible? I mean, one link, it's like, how can one web page be 3 web pages? It's not possible, right? Well, if you want one web page, this link to be these 3 other links, then you maybe create a new page, put all 3 web pages content in there, and then do that. Well, actually, you know what? Actually, this is not that crazy. We got this, Narayan. We got you, my friend. And I don't know. Hey, let's see. So 1050 Narayan link 3 reports into one. So let's kind of think out loud. All right. So it started off sounding crazy, but maybe it isn't. So of course, one option, I'm going to put it out. And again, sometimes it's a good idea when you have a problem to just kind of brainstorm solutions. And when you're brainstorming, the number one rule is you don't judge, because if you start judging, this is a bad idea, then you're stemming the flow. And that's what you want to do in brainstorming. Like, just go all out, right? So first one we're going to put out there is combine the 3 reports, create one report. Why can't one report show you daily, weekly, monthly? I've done that. I'm sure a lot of users on this call have done that, right? So reports can combine all of those. So Narayan, I want to hear from you. Why wouldn't you consider that option? Right? Yeah, just have it be in one report, and they click on this tab, and that's daily, and then the next tab, and that's weekly. Heck, you can show this on a single page into one report. Can show this on a single page. Actually, I'm gonna pull up. Actually, this is parts of it are on YouTube as well, but the complete thing is inside my course and financial dashboard. So if you go to, and this is in the pro level, I'm just going to show you kind of the classic one. And again, look for financial dashboards on my channel, and there's a little bit on there too. Now, in the pro level, I build it step by step, so you know it inside out, and that makes it easier for you to customize it for yourself. But let's see, financial dashboards. Okay, cool. So you can see here that I'm glad I started off in the end result. Oops, I like doing that. So notice here that in this we are showing the numbers for the current month, right? The numbers for quarter to date, and the numbers for year to date. And wait, we're not done. There's a lot more in it. You can see details by either current month, quarter to date, year to date. And wait, we're still not done. There's also the year-end projection. So you notice that all of these elements have different lenses into the data, right? You said daily, weekly, monthly, but of course you can go crazy. Whatever different lenses you need, you can build that in the same page and certainly in the same report. Now, of course, there's a big difference sometimes in building things in multiple pages or multiple or a single page, and the difference is this. So, guys, Power BI kind of hijacked the term dashboard. So they call this Power. There's a PowerBI.com dashboard and there's a Power BI report, right? But in general, dashboard is a screen full of information. That's all it is, right? So Power BI reports, in my mind, I call them dashboard, and others do too, right? So let's go to my mentor. So Stephen Few, definition of.
Hi, this is Narayan.
Oops. Hey folks, yeah, if you're joining on Zoom, you gotta mute me on YouTube. Stop that. Otherwise, hey Narayan, we're getting feedback from your microphone. So hold on, let me finish up, and then I'll check in with you. But make sure you're not watching me on YouTube, or mute me on YouTube. So this is, I'm not sure. Is this? Oh yeah. So Narayan, I will need you on mute, my friend. All right, sorry. Hey, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop you. So hold on one second. So dashboard is a screen full of information, and I gotta finish my thought. Otherwise, I'll lose it. And again, it might not help you. Kind of what your question. You may be something else, and we'll get back to that. But I gotta kind of finish that thought. So we can combine 3 reports into 1 report. That was one, and the other one was we can pin reports on one dashboard. So let's go to that. Go to Power BI and let's find a report. Oh gosh, let's go to demo. And reports, let's try this one. So in the report, and once it comes up, I'm going to pin this as a live page on a dashboard. So I'm going to pin this as a live page. And let's say new dashboard. I'll have to remember to delete it. Avi test. Okay, pin live. And then I can do the same for another sheet. And another sheet, or this could be, I can go to a completely different report, and then say pin live page again, back to that. Pin, oh, where does my Avi test one go? Avi test, there we go. So this way you can go to like different reports, different tabs, whatever you need, and then your dashboard, the one link, you can share the link to the dashboard, and when they go there, they see daily, weekly, monthly, or anything else that you can imagine. All right, Narayan. So sorry, I had to kind of finish that, otherwise I would have forgotten. So go ahead and unmute yourself, and make sure you're not watching me on YouTube, or mute me on YouTube. Otherwise, we get the feedback. Narayan, go ahead and okay, got it. I think I can hear you. Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm doing good. Thanks.
Awesome. So you know the drill. Before we talk, you gotta introduce yourself to our audience here. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Narayan, working in debt collection agencies as a data scientist.
Nice.
Basically, core work is to analyze and data and providing insights for top management to take decision based on the data. So data, as on a daily basis, it generates more than 10 million data per day.
Yeah.
So we have to work on those data. So actually what happens, if I'm saying 3 report daily, monthly and daily, weekly and monthly, it means for Power BI, if I refresh the data set, any report, all the entire data set get refreshed.
Yeah.
So like if I have created 3 pages, first per daily and weekly, then monthly, all the 3 data set will go for refresh.
Yeah.
So there is no any other options to stop the weekly and monthly data set from refreshing. So what I wanted to refresh the daily data set on daily basis, weekly data set only on Monday, and the monthly start of the month.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me, how are you refreshing? Are you using PowerBI.com? Do you have an automatic refresh setup?
Yes, Power BI. I have pro license, so I can maximum schedule for 8 times in a day.
Oh, got it.
So all data are import data model, so not direct query.
Got it. Okay, so cool. So hey, I think the question we answered was something I now realize that I kind of made up. I mean, it wasn't a question. That was a good question as well that I came up with. But now I see your problem. Got it. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a good answer for you, but let's explore. So for one, I think this is bad news. The bad news, I think, that as far as I can, gosh, I don't think this is going to be, even when they deliver incremental refresh, I don't know how, I'm not, yeah, so I've used incremental refresh in SSAS, and if somebody said, and I have daily data, weekly data, and monthly data, and maybe they said daily data I want to refresh daily, weekly data I want to refresh once a week, monthly data I want to refresh every month, I'm not sure I would know how to implement that. Maybe that is possible, maybe that's not possible. So actually we'll keep it question mark. So I'm not even sure if even with incremental refresh, if that's possible or not. Maybe it is, but of course, even if it is, then you have pro licenses. Right now you need premium, so it's a non-starter anyway, right? So for now, yeah, I mean, automatic refresh through PowerBI.com could be problematic. PowerBI.com, and again, right now I'm in brainstorming mode, so no bad answers. So don't judge me. But what I was thinking of is, of course, manually it's possible, and I do that all the time, where I go to my data set and say, let's try this. I just go to one table and say I only want to refresh this. So again, no judgment right now. I'm just going to write that down. So manual refresh in Power BI desktop by selecting the table. Actually, let me step back. Why do you care? Why not just refresh the whole data? What's the concern there?
So concern is the time it takes to execute the queries. So all the data sets are stored in the SQL database. So that takes a long time to execute all the monthly data set, because we have to aggregate all the things and summarize the information.
Yeah, but it's an automatic refresh. It's probably running at the night. Nobody's around. Why do you care if it takes too long?
So actually, what happens on a daily basis, I have to provide update once they start the production. So at the time of production, that's where the issue came.
Yeah, but set up the refresh to run in the night, and you come in the morning and you have the latest data. Why doesn't that work?
So all things are actually daily means it's included with the live data sets as well. So right now I have created daily, weekly, and monthly. For daily, it runs 8 times in a day, starting from 10 a.m. morning till 4.
And how? Yeah, got it. So you need to provide regular updates during the day. How long does it take, the refresh?
So for daily, it takes 15 to 20 minutes. For weekly, it takes around 1 hour. If I execute monthly, it will take 2 or 3 or 4 hours. At the same time, so production are also happening on the same data set. So a lot of insertion, updates, BGTs, and stored
Oh, got
procedures
it.
are running.
So right
So
now, what is the shape of your model? Do you have 3 different PBIX, Power BI desktop files? There's one PBIX file for the daily data, one for weekly, one for monthly. Is that what you have right now?
yeah,
Okay, cool. Well, so maybe you keep it that way, and then, you pin the reports to one dashboard and send the link to the management,
okay.
right?
The way you just
Yeah.
discussed back. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't I didn't try that way right now.
all right, cool. Awesome. Let's go with that. Yep.
Mhm.
All right, cool. So, awesome. Ryan's great. I think that's the best solution for you. Thank you, my friend. And
Thanks.
you can drop off or stay on, up to you. But do go on mute, please. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Absolutely. All right, folks. So let's sit there for a second, right? And explore other options, right? I have a feeling about this one. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about this one. So, I mean, I kind of see the. This is interesting. Yeah. So I'm just gonna stay here for a little bit. What if this wasn't a viable solution? So Narayan was too kind. He was like, "Yep, Avi, I'm gonna try that. Great." Right? But what if it didn't work? What if it didn't? What if somehow this wasn't an option? That somehow it didn't work. No. That's not what we want. What else could we do? And of course, what else could we do? Now, for one, I don't like the idea of 3 separate models. Oh, I think that's what's bothering me, right? So there's this whole debate we've had multiple times. Oh gosh, I should write it down. So hold on, guys. So we're gonna say hashtag I don't know what to call it. Idea one model versus multiple models. Actually, I at least want to create this inside my course. I don't think it's going to be a very popular YouTube video because, anyway. But this debate has raged on for quite a bit with my class, with my students, with people I've consulted with. And oh boy, I'm falling in love with this one because I didn't realize it's going to lead us here, right? So one model versus multiple models. If you do keep multiple models, what do you get? What do you get? You get flexibility. And you get speed. Ooh, you're fast, right? So, and in my case, I was working at Microsoft. That's where I kind of cut my teeth in Power BI. And I was part of the Microsoft Learning, by the way, the folks who do Microsoft Press books. They're the ones who do certification and courseware. So they had 4 lines of business. Let's see if I can still remember it. Microsoft Press, the books folks, and then there was the e-learning, and then there was courseware, and then certification, I think. Right, so 4 lines of business, and the choice was that do we create a single model for all 4 lines of businesses, or multiple models? Now this was a big enough business, so Microsoft, I often call it. Any big company behaves that way. A big company is always a company of companies. You go from one to the other, one business unit to the other, and the whole world changes. The culture changes. Everything changes, right? So, well, some things are same. You're still reporting to Satya, right? So, that doesn't change. But but yeah, it can change. Actually, side story, I went from Microsoft Commerce, which I loved the role, loved the domain, and it's fascinating. I've talked about that a few times in here. And I went to Microsoft Learning, and man, the quality of life, the work-life balance, the people that I worked with really changed night and day. Cool. So, but anyway, so the debate was, do we create 4 different models for these business units that we have, or just one model? And I ended up with one model, and generally I prefer that approach, but it's a trade-off. So multiple model is well, yeah, you get less flexibility because, I don't want to do that. So this is a negative here, and speed as well, because flexibility, I can't spell. Okay. If you build separate models for these 4 lines of businesses, what's going to happen is, let's put a timestamp on this one. Maybe we start at 11:05. is that now if you build multiple models and somebody from Microsoft Press comes to me and says, hey, Avi, can you make this change? I say, sure. But if I have one model and somebody from Microsoft Press comes to me and says, hey, Avi, can you make this change? I'll say, let me talk to others. Let me see if it impacts them or not, right? And it becomes this whole big thing. I have to understand, assess the impact, and let's go, it does impact. If it does impact, then I have to inform them at least, or maybe even ask them. And that's when you end up in so you got to do change management, and you got to say, yep, these are the requests coming in. How many can we do in a month? And all that sort of stuff. It just becomes very different model. But what do you get for one model? Well, so another challenge here for multiple models is there is a lot of redundancy. For one, calendar table. I've never built a model which didn't have a calendar table. So, that's a simple one though. And yeah, hopefully it wouldn't change that much. It would change. And that's where I first ran into this. Where it's like I needed to make a change to my calendar table. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I got to do it in 4 different places. And it can be worse, right? If you keep building multiple models, you can have 10 or 20 or 50 models where you have to change this. The same thing. But it's not just about the calendar table. What about the other key tables, right? So if you build the model like the way you're supposed to, the way, well, I teach you to build it. I teach my students to build it. Frankly, followers as well. And there's a lot of stuff on YouTube as well, where you build it on paper first, and you draw it out, and you say, this is my data table, and this is my lookup tables. And the lookup tables are the who, what, where, when, how. The who, what, where, when, how. Now, the unique thing about this who, what, where, when, how is these are key entities in your business. So if I did build multiple models for my 4 lines of businesses, they most likely would have quite a few common tables when it came to lookup tables, like the who. Probably each one is going to have a product, right? I mean, Press is selling a product, e-learning is selling a product, courseware is selling a product, certification is selling a product. So they all have the product table. And similarly for other stuff as well. They all probably would have sales territories. They all probably would have a customer, right? So you see the redundancy there. And yeah, it's just, sometimes the redundancy is terrible. I mean, it's just, you look at it and like, oh my gosh, that's impossible. So now I got 4 or 5 or 50, 10 models, and if I make a change in product or something like that, if I do a fix, if I add a measure, I have to do it in all these different places. So there is a terrible cost to that as well, right? So again, it's a trade-off, right? In one model, there's obviously no redundancy. It's just in one place. So let's go back to this one, and that's why this kind of tickled me. It's like, nah, man. I mean, why have 3 separate models? So I mean, you can, but you kind of suffer with redundancy. Now, again, I don't really know. I mean, how do you? Because I really feel that even incremental refresh wouldn't solve it, or maybe it would, but I would definitely pursue that. I would say, hey, can I solve this with incremental refresh, where I can say only refresh this one, only refresh this one, and so daily data I refresh multiple times a day. Weekly I refresh maybe once or twice a week, and monthly I refresh once or twice a month. So I would look into that. So again, I'll leave it at that. I would leave it at that because again, combining multiple, we're paying a cost. We're paying a cost. That's all I want us to recognize. So folks, the rules that I talk about, what are some of the key rules that I talk about? The key rules that I talk about are, what do I talk about? Well, obviously I talk about the model. So how do you build the model? I talk about how you arrange the model. I talk about how you should use, oh man, this is actually good. I don't think I've tried to summarize all the rules that I talk about. Man, that's another idea. Let's see. Hold on, guys. 1114 hashtag idea. All of Avi's rules. How about that? And we'll go this. What are the rules that I talk about? How to build model on paper. Data table. Lookup tables, I talk about that. I talk about how to arrange the tables in the relationship view, in the diagram view. That is extremely important for me. That's almost the first thing that I do whenever I'm trying to help a student or a client. I say, show me a relationship view. And they say, show me the relationship view. And what it's called, model, I guess. And then I rearrange everything to have it so that relationship flow downhill. Oh, the relationships by default should be one directional and one to many. Okay, one directional, one to many. What is the other rule? The other rule is cooking in the kitchen, my friend. Right, so ETL, clean shape, transform data, all of that belongs in the query editor. Do not do it in DAX. I don't know why people do it in DAX. Just stop. Just don't do it, right? Actually, I know why they do it. Sometimes, yeah, I mean, I started off in DAX. I was more comfortable there. Query editor, I was new to it. And I don't know, sometimes, so you're partial to DAX. But anyway, forget it. And math in measures, right? So math in DAX measures. Nowhere else. Not in the query editor. Not in query editor. And not in calculated columns. So those are some of the rules. I probably have more. And of course, I mean, in the course, I do cover this. Not in one chapter, which covers all the rules, but as I go through my course, you know what? I'll show you guys a quick peek, just so you can structure in your head maybe the approach that you should take to learning Power BI as well, right? So again, I mean, you don't have to join the course, but I would advise the same structure. So on my channel, the tutorial that I have there is the how do I go to my channel? There we go. This one, right? So this one featured right there. It's actually the first lesson in my course, first module, let's say, right? So this guy is what's available on YouTube. But again, you don't have to join the course, but I would recommend the same model. So go through that. That's freely available on YouTube. But then your focus should be learning the query editor, relationships, DAX, and then visuals in PowerBI.com platform come later, right? So and basically Zero to Dashboard gives you a taste of all of these. And that was the idea with Zero to Dashboard, that you have the end-to-end picture of what the components are, how they fit together. And then you're ready to dive in, right? So I don't have a one single place, but I go through all of this. But coming back to this, what I was saying was that I generally advise one model, but again, that's one of those rules. It's okay. I'm perfectly okay if you break my rules if two things are true, right? Two things are true. Number one, you're aware that you're breaking a rule, right? So I sometimes work with a client or a student, and I look at that, and I would say, what is this dotted line? And it's like, I don't know. Power BI created it. I'm like, dude, yeah, the company doesn't pay a salary to Power BI, anyway, that's too harsh. But you want to be conscientious. You want to be totally in control, 100% of your model. I'm close to it. So when you're breaking a rule, when you're saying, no, I'm going to calculate something in a query editor or do this, be aware of that. That's number one. Number two is you can explain why. If you break rules, that's perfectly okay. Be aware that you are doing so. No rules are inviolable. I had to slow down to say that word. Inviolable. Be aware that you're doing so, and know why you're doing so. Okay, cool. So let's go back to that. So one model is what I generally would recommend. It's not as, let's call it a rule. Why not, right? But when you're saying multiple models, it's okay. Just be aware that, yep, I'm not following the convention, and just be aware why. And your why can be that, well, I had this refresh scenario, which I can't solve even with incremental refresh, and maybe, or I don't have premium or something like that, and this is why I'm doing it. All right, cool. So good discussion here. Let's do this. Let's check in on the question. How are we doing on Talk Power BI? The crowd is thinning out, which is cool. We get to hang out with a smaller group. Let's do one. How are we doing on time? Oh gosh, not even 12 yet. It's just been. Let's go over. Let's go over to the chat box. Okay, Narayan was trying to chime in there. More than 2 hours, 6 degree correct. Okay, good. Glad we talked about that. Samuel, good to see you, my friend. Heather, how to import and execute Python scripts in Power BI. All I can say is go to the query editor and click this button. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to help you beyond that. But yeah, it might be a preview feature. If you don't see that button, make sure you check out the preview features and turn that on. And you just go do that in File, Options, and look for preview features. Let me just check really quick. Preview, is that a preview? Python scripting, cool. Preview features. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so do turn it on, Python support, and you're good to go, my friend. Nagendra, I'm awesome. I'm proud for you. I'm really happy for you. Python, that's a little bit beyond me. R, I don't use that either. And one of my friends, mentor, Greg Weber, he's the one who taught me data modeling. I hope he joked with me, but he said, Avi, you can't call yourself an analyst if you don't know R. And frankly, analyst is the title I've always had. So I'm like, God, what, man? I'm not an analyst. Those are his threshold. So Heather's asking, how about a dashboard with select data from different reports? Yeah, I mean, you can of course do that. You can go to a report and just pin like one element. So let's just go back to a report. So yeah, I'm not sure, Heather, if that's what you were asking. I mean, you can pin live pages. Frankly, pin live pages is the exception. I generally avoid that. One reason is that if you pin the live page, the dashboard doesn't look great on mobile. So again, it's an exception, not the rule. The general way is to go around different reports, doesn't matter where they are, and just pin like individual elements. Like if I click on this, it's just connect this element. So that's the typical dashboard. And of course, I'm gonna delete my Avi test from here and remove, delete. And if you go over to customer profitability dashboard, yeah, I mean, you can see that it has like different elements, and for all I know, this could have come from, actually these do, I mean, this one, actually you can see by the look of it, this actually comes from Excel. So yeah, you can, notice, it comes from Excel Online. So not only different elements from different Power BI reports, you can pin kind of Excel stuff. You can of course create your own tiles. Let's try that. I mean, you can add tile, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can feed it real-time data. You can put a video, web content, image, text box. So yeah, so multiple reports, different kind of tiles, Excel, and I'm not sure what's the status on the SQL Server reporting services, the paginated reports, but it's possible that I don't know, maybe you already are able to combine those as well in the dashboard. But yeah, dashboard can definitely do that. Is there a way to change the name of a column in all measures in one go? Yeah, you rename the column. So sorry, that's really easy. So let's say I have a lot of measures referring to the sales amount, and I just go to the column and I rename it. So I'm going to go to the sales amount column as soon as I can find it. There it is, and I'll say rename, and I don't know, new sales amount, and it's going to rename all the measures. Pending changes. Yep, pending changes. Go ahead, my friend. It's doing it. Sorry, I broke the report. So yeah, that's it. Why don't we? Okay, so yeah, we ended gratitude. So let's end that there. So I'm gonna come back in, but yeah, sorry for that one. Actually, you know what? I'll write that. I think that can be a quick tip. That's spell your name, right? let's do quick tip. Okay, so let's check back in. Did it work? So again, I renamed the column, and now if I go back to my measure, oh shoot. What happened here? This is supposed to work. Oh wait, it didn't. Oh, sorry, the rename didn't happen itself. Let's go back in and rename again. And so I say rename, and I say new sales amount, and then, bated breath. And it's refreshing, and I look back at this measure, and you notice that this measure, I didn't touch this measure. So this and any other measure which was using that column would get renamed. Yeah, I mean, you saw it. It just works. Well, yeah. So I think try renaming it from this view, the report view, not in the query editor. Yeah, changing it in the query editor might break it. Now, interestingly, when you rename it here, it does change the query editor. So I renamed sales amount to sales order amount. I renamed sales amount to new sales amount. And it actually does go back and add it in the query editor. So let me show that really quick. So notice sales. The last step in there is, look at that, renamed columns, right? And if you check that step, it renames sales amount to new sales amount. So if you make a change in the reporting view, not in the query editor, it takes care of it. It goes back and updates in the query editor. It does all the renaming. It's possible that if you go in the query editor and rename it, then it doesn't work. Actually, you know what? This is better than I thought, right? So I think renaming it in query editor may break all your measures. So yeah, just rename it in there. So hopefully that would work. All right, folks, let's bring it home. Bring it home, my friends. Let's close on. So we started with hashtag win. I shared mine. I think it was about my daughter. Let's end with some gratitude. So if you are listening right now, if you would want to share something with the group, do that. If not, keeping a gratitude journal. I actually don't, but it's a great idea. It's apparently it increases your happiness by 25%. All right, so yeah, you can be happier. And if you haven't realized yet, happiness is the key to success. We all have it backwards. You think that, oh, I'm going to be happy, contented, whatever, when I'm successful. It's backwards. And if you want more on that, then you can read the book Happiness Advantage, which argues exactly the same thing. And yeah, it's one of the bestseller big books. So read that. Or if you, let's see if I can find that. So this part about beyond kind of Power BI, about kind of mindset and basically the lessons that I've learned, I've started a new channel. I don't know why I feel slightly shy about this, but where I'm sharing that journey, kind of the inner journey, and kind of the business stuff
Avi
as well.
Singh.
So, oops, that was too loud. So yeah, check that out. And again, to go to my channel, and you can find it on there. Power On, that's the name right now. But let's come back and share some gratitude. So again, the similar rules to what we have for hashtag win. This can be big or small. This can be work related, professional, or personal in your personal life, right? I mean, frankly, for me, I don't see a line. It's kind of a blended thing. And the way I like to do it is I just close my eyes and see what bubbles up, right? So yeah, I mean, so we started doing this with my team, and at some points I felt that they were preparing it beforehand. They were like, oh, today I'm going to share this for the win, this for the gratitude. Sometimes I think they would put it in the notes as well, that this is my win. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. This is different. This is about basically connecting with yourself. So I'm going to close my eyes, and what do I feel grateful for? Well, I feel grateful for malpuas that my wife cooked for us the other day. Oh, by the way, yeah, happy Holi, everyone. Yeah, so Holi was, I think, yesterday in India, and it's a big festival, and in US everything gets pushed off to the weekend, so we'll be celebrating Holi this weekend. I think we're going to like 4 different Holi parties, which is awesome. When we moved to Seattle, that was 15 years ago, there weren't Holi parties, not like this. So yeah, so let's end on that. So yeah, I feel grateful for the malpuas she cooked for me, and they were really yummy. So yeah, so again, if you would like to share something that you're grateful for, go ahead in this group. But otherwise, it's a great practice to kind of follow for yourself. And I'm just, you know what? Let me see if I can share some Holi photos, huh? We'll end with some color. Oh gosh, I can't. Okay, there we go. And just give me a few seconds, guys. Better get back to this. Oh man, it's taking too long. I was trying to find it in my I don't know how to cry Holi. I was trying to find it in my Facebook feed, but I couldn't. So let's go to the events site and let's see if they have any pictures. Oh boy, look at that! Yeah, guys. I mean, how fun! And of course, can I increase the size? Oh, look at that! Oops, I messed up. All right. Anyway, all right. So those who know Holi or celebrate Holi, happy Holi, my friends. Well, India is already passed, but if you're in US, I suppose you're going to be celebrating like me on the weekend. So enjoy that, have fun, and we'll see you next time on Talk Power BI. All right. Take care, my friends. Power on.